What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Yes, it's an emergency. Why? What's an emergency? Very Dark Man is right. Is right. Well, it won't be the first time he's right. In fact, people like Very Dark Man, they thrive off of the fact that they are often right. But they have that small poison, and that poison is all it takes to destroy our society, which is what I've been calling him out on. But this is an emergency, but even the clock is right at least twice a day. Think about it. Think about it. Okay. So just because it's right now, I'm not keeping my foot off his neck. I'm going to keep my foot on his neck. But he highlighted something here that I've been talking about forever. But of course, I'm not going to be disrespectful to the whole world because I have truth to tell. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to jump in a comment section and start cursing people out because I have a new god in Very Dark Man. There's a lot of weirdos like that everywhere around the world. Not just Nigerian. I see enlightened, educated people being part of the rat tail and doing that. So this is not a shade or a shot at uneducated people. There, I know educated people doing this as I speak right now, and it's terrible. It's sad to watch because that's all it takes. The poisons. The poisons is how the devil gets you. It's not anybody who is just outlining. Like the devil doesn't need Tinubu or somebody who is an oppressor in the eyes of majority to really tamper with us. The devil needs small poison in good people, you know, in so-called good people. So Very Dark Man pointed something out here, and we're gonna review this video together. I'm not doing a live session because I have Sharp Edge News going on live later on today. Today is normally off day for for Man of Prestige, so I'm just gonna catch some cruise while I'm hanging out with myself, but hopefully you hang out with me in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts are about what he's saying about the Eezee versus Mercy Chinwo issues. The Mercy Chinwo versus Eezee issue started as obviously Mercy Chinwo is a mega superstar, rock star, gospel superstar. I call them rock star, even though the body of Christ don't like to do that, which I think is cap. Right? A superstar is a superstar. Another superstar out there is Pastor Dadijio Oyedepo and Adeboye. Those are the most influential people in Nigeria. Those are the most influential people in Nigeria. So Very Dark Man is not really telling me anything new when he says a redeemed pastor is a boss person at EFCC. You're not telling me anything new. You might have been dumb to not realize that redeemed Christian members are in every corner of our society. I've been saying this forever. You've been following me here. I've been saying this forever, that Oyedepo and Adeboye are the most influential people in Nigeria. Not Tinubu. Okay, not Tinubu. These are extremely powerful people. How do I know? Because they say one word, a lot of people, like significantly a lot of Nigerians in and outside of Nigeria, take their word as the gospel truth. That is a powerful position to be in life, which, like I said, congratulations to Very Dark Man. He's now in that position. It doesn't matter if what he's saying is right or wrong. I've always said that too. If enough people are following his words blindly, that's all it takes. That's power. And he needs to be responsible around that. And if he's not responsible, he becomes a target. Right? It becomes a target in every way you can think of. All right? But anyway, we're going to review this video, okay? Thank you for. So as I was saying, he's become a powerful person. It doesn't matter what he's saying is right or wrong. We now have to pay attention to when he says anything, because we have enough dumbos that will take his word as gospel truth and run with it. So we have to kind of tackle it as they come. All right. So like I said, the clock is right at least twice a day. So he's right on something here. So since it's highlighting it, let me highlight it more, right? And this is a very simple situation. Okay, so there's a dispute between Eezee, who used to be manager and record label owner for Mercy Chinwo, who is a gospel superstar, right? And that's the young lady I was playing her music at the beginning of our last live stream, right? And they've had a dispute around their royalties. Okay, the guy has been holding on to Mercy Chinwo's royalties for a while now because he didn't want to let her go. He didn't want to release her of her contract, which is really non-existing according to Very Dark Man, because Very Dark Man said they did a verbal contract in 2017. Even though Mr. Chinwo says there was a contract, but the contract has been messed with. So now they call it 2019. So it's fraudulent because you can't just scratch out stuff without her consent or without a proper addendum to the previous contract. He's trying to extend the contract to 12 years or something like that from 5 years. But the lady says, I'm done, I'm good. Maybe the contract was non-existent, but she moved on. But they had some in-between disputes, right? She was performing on shows, and she's supposed to reverse some money back to him because they had like a 50-50 contract for performances, but also for publishings and streaming income and things like that. So since he's accusing Mercy Chinwo of holding on to some of the money from some performances, and so he's like, I'm going to hold on to your money. We need to reconcile between, and the reality is that there's a lot more money from royalty. Okay, so we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars into the millions. Okay, somebody said something about millions. It makes sense that it could be millions of dollars, not naira. But Baba is talking about some $3,500 or $5,000 from some performances. So he decided to hold on to the royalties. So now they've since filed a petition. The EFCC is suing Eezee, not Mercy Chinwo. The EFCC is suing Eezee. So some of the speculation thus far has been that, okay, maybe Mercy Chinwo is using influences at the EFCC, which is what Eezee has been trying to say. Okay, yes, it could be, but the facts are the facts. The facts that we now know today is that Very Dark Man is uncovering that there's some possible relationships between Mercy Chinwo's husband, Pastor Blessed, and some other guy, some Pastor Oyedepo, who is an EFCC person, and the judge who is also a redeemed member. Let's just listen to Very Dark Man. He didn't really uncover anything that some of us that are wise enough we don't already know. Okay, he's gonna need to come up with some other types of facts, but we're gonna give it enough attention because of course the Rattels are running with it and they are powerful at this point, and we have to nip it in the bud as they come. At least I'll do my own part here, So let's listen to what Very Dark Man said he's uncovered today, and we shall take it from there.
First part of my investigation. It's now time to... Alright, so I am done with the first part of my investigation. It's now time to reveal and to expose to the general public what is going on underground. So much for the body of Christ. I told you all that you all will learn. Alright, so this is an event that was...
If you have a tendency to attack the body of Christ in your rhetoric, you're probably, listen, I'm not the most religious person, okay? What I ask is don't defend or attack the body of Christ. It's a useless thing to do. It's like arguing if there's God or there's no God. It's stupid. People have the right to their faith, and if you're attacking their faith directly, it tells me you're not a very wise person, okay? Because if anything, you know that anything about their faith is personal to them. So the worst thing you can ever do is attack people's faith. It's stupid. The government don't do it. The powers that be don't do it, right? If anybody has attacked any kind of faith, it's war. We've seen that in history, right? So what do we do in civilized world with some emotional intelligence? We say people have the freedom of faith. And if you're going to attack anything, you can attack them or their character or some specifics without attacking their faith, which is part of people's identity. But of course, Very Dark Man will not know that, of course. So much for body of Christ. He's getting ready to attack the body of Christ, which, by the way, is being encouraged by Eezee, because Eezee was saying people that call themselves the... What does that have to do with people's behavior? There are people with bad behavior inside of church. Newsflash. Who is slow now?
hosted last year. It's titled In His Presence. It was hosted on the 23rd of May 2024. Now let's look at all the ministers. Now if you look at the first person, his name is Pastor Rotimi Oyedepo SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The next person is Pastor Toby Popola. The third person is MC Lamu. Then there's Kiki, there's Ebuka Song, and then there's Pastor Blessed. Pastor Blessed happens to be the husband of Mercy Chinwo. Right. Now, let's quickly go straight to the first person on the ministering list. The first person is Pastor Rotimi Oyedepo SAN. Let's quickly Google who Pastor Rotimi Oyedepo is. Now, if you check on Google, Pastor Rotimi Oyedepo is going to show you that Pastor Rotimi Oyedepo happens to be a prosecutor with EFCC. Coincidentally, is still the same prosecutor in the case between Mercy Chinwo and Eezee Concept. Now, I was thinking that it was just a coincidence that they happened to be in one event together just once. But again, they hosted another event where they were together again. As you can see, on the 24th of December, 2024, Attitude of Gratitude. Ministers, if you look at the ministers, you see the SAN again, Rotimi Oyedepo. And you still see Pastor Bless, who happens to be Mercy Chinwo's husband. That means they know themselves. So it's not a coincidence that the prosecutor for the case between Eezee Concept and Mercy Chinwo is a friend and a close ally to who? To the EFCC prosecutor and to Mercy Chinwo's husband. So they know themselves.
All right, so let's take it from there. First of all, Pastor Oyedepo SAN. Why do you put an SAN in front of the pastor on the church program? Why? I don't understand. Why would you do that when you know that, well, they didn't know. Hopefully you now learn the hard way, right? You can't put SAN in front of Pastor Oyedepo for a church program, okay? Because we need whistleblowers like VERYDARKMAN, like the show rest. We need them in our society. Because what do we know about power? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Right? So no, we need balances and checks, and part of the ways we have balances and checks is to have people like VERYDARKMAN in our society. But in the same token, we have to check them, right? Because they tend to go crazy wire too, right? People like VERYDARKMAN show red, they also don't tend to hear come. Once they hear go, right? They're like zombies, like soldiers, right? So if we're gonna have people like that in the society, which I think we need whistleblowers like VERYDARKMAN in our society, we just need to also check and balance them too, right? If we're going to have that, you cannot have Pastor Oyedepo and then have SAN in front of it, and you cannot have such a huge conflict of interest. You cannot be the one prosecuting. You can't do that. And I know they might not be close friends and stuff like that, but still, man, you can't have more than one program where you guys are on the same flyers, and we know that. I've always told you, Nigeria thrive off of this influence thing. My person that know this person that know this, everybody benefit from that. Gate man, they benefit from that. The house girl is benefiting from it, right? Everybody oppresses each other. Once you think you're a little bit small higher, yeah, like I better pass my neighbor small, you oppress the other person. This is not. I always told you, it's not about Tinubu. It's about, this is a culture in the society. So I'll say kudos to VERYDARKMAN for doing this job. His job. Let's hope so, right? Let's keep going, okay? But the point here, he pointed out something really cool here, which is Pastor SAN. Why? He didn't even point that one out, but the fact that he's the prosecutor on the case, that's conflict of interest. There's nowhere in the world where that's okay. There's no way, and you should have known that somebody will pick that up at some point. You see, this is the problem with shalaye. Like, if you don't do the right thing, eventually you have to explain yourself, and then you tell on yourself, which is why I wish that Mercy Chinwo did not do that cry video. That statement before the cry video was good enough. Let's keep on.
Now, it does not stop there. When I thought this was the end that I have discovered, I now discovered something that is even way bigger. Now, I now ask Eezee Concept. I said, that invitation letter that was sent to you by EFCC, can I see it? And when they sent me the invitation, I saw that, okay, as you can see, investigation activities, invitation letter, the managing director, Eezee Concept, blah, 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 blah. Now, who is the zonal commander of EFCC in Ilorin? It is Michael Ezenkwe. That's the zonal commander of EFCC in Ilorin. Who is Mr. Michael Eezee? Mr. Michael Eezee happens to be a pastor in Redeemed Church of God. As you can see, Thanksgiving today led by Pastor Michael Eezee, PIC Grace City Zone. Now, as you can see, that's the same person. He works with the EFCC. That's his picture. So he works with the EFCC and is in charge of Ilorin. Maybe that was why they moved the case from Lagos to Ilorin, and that was how they detained Eezee for 9 days.
Here front, the fact that they would take the case completely out of jurisdiction to Ilorin never made any sense. But I always chill because some things might not make sense to you on the surface level. When you now dig in deeper, it start to make sense. But at this point in time, I'm still patient, but that's a question. Why was the case all the way in Ilorin? It's an open question. Why is it all the way in Ilorin? Maybe Mercy Chinwo was using the influence. Well, the question I always ask is that, Baba, did you owe her monies, royalties? Do you owe her money? That's still also a question, you know. But could this be handled in Lagos? Yes. Would they need influence in Lagos? Yes. Do they have enough influence in Lagos? Is that how that system works in Lagos? In Nigeria? Do they need influence to execute what they need to execute, even when they are right? Sometimes they do. Sometimes people, like there's too many innocent people that will run into a police station, file a petition, and that petition will basically get lost because they don't have enough influence. That's the society that they live in. So am I going to sit here and say Mercy should not use the influence that she has? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay? I'm telling you right now straight up, if I live in Nigeria, I'm telling you straight up, I will use my influence to execute whatever I need to get done. I will just try to make sure that I'm ethical and not oppress people with it. So in this case, she actually has money being owed to her. She used her influence. Am I encouraging it? No, it's not mine to encourage. She already did it. I'm telling you in Nigeria, the reality is that people, both oppressed and oppressors, will do that, including VERYDARKMAN. Why does he have all those phone numbers in his back pocket? Why does he keep building relationships with people like Davido? Because influence is power, right? Why does he have a large social media presence? Because influence is power. This is the way it works. So now, the only time I can call fault, right? He's pointing out some things that the general public might not know, and I'm using that as an opportunity to teach right now. The only time I'm going to fault Mercy Chinwo is if there's no actual money stolen or withheld from her that belongs to her. If all she's done is use her influence to effect her rights, then I'm not going to have to chill because I don't live in Nigeria. I haven't lived in Nigeria in a long time. I've never lived in Nigeria as an adult, as a matter of fact. So I can't really speak too much to it. And I'm not going to call it right and wrong in a society where the first offense that was committed is withholding her royalties. Right? That 2 wrongs don't make it right. But I tell you what, 5 wrongs, 50 wrongs can make it right in a society that's full of all kind of disarray. Okay? And all is fair in love and war. And we've seen this guy also bully people on the internet in the name of they attacked him. So all is fair in love and war. He has the right to do that. He has the platform to do that. The police has not picked him up for libel. I mean, they've done that a few times, but anything like that, right? So he's right too. We're all of us. It's all fair in love and war.
You're right.
So kudos to him. Whistleblower, he's doing his job. Whistleblower. Okay, now we know. But has she done anything wrong so far by using her influence to effect getting her money from this guy? Because I haven't seen any denial. There's no money withheld. Has she done any wrong? I'm asking you. I don't know. You tell me. Was she wrong to use her influence to effect what she needs or what's her right as per her own money? Did she do anything wrong? Where is the original contract that didn't get crossed out from 2017 to 2019? Would she be able to uncover that if she did not have, in Nigeria, would she be able to uncover that if she did not have her friends making sure that this case goes the way it's supposed to go? Now, should there be conflict of interest in the society? No. That's a problem. That is a major problem. And you're going to see more and more like Very Dark Man, maybe even bigger than Very Dark Man, that will keep calling out the BS in that system. You cannot say Pastor Eezee and it's not necessary. Why do you say that? And you cannot be the pastor who is friends with them and be the one, or be the Michael Ezenkwe, Michael Eezee something. You cannot be the zonal commander and you are in Ilorin, and you have to find a way, like, because all those kind of things happen here in the West too, but they're not so obvious. Like, you're not going to use your influence and it becomes so obvious. Eventually you're going to go to jail as a politician, as anybody. You're going to go to jail, and it's wrong. It's wrong. But again, I want to highlight something that it's not about the fact that that's wrong. It's a fact that in that society, so you have to, for the most part, you have to use your influence. It's who you know. But Nigeria needs to do better with not being so obvious with the conflict of interest. Because again, I don't have to tell you, Very Dark Man is going to uncover it. He's going to uncover it, even if it means he's going to drag you and your children with it. It's fair. In love and war, all it's fair. I'm just pointing out this thing again. If you're a prestige family here, it shouldn't be telling you anything new. I already knew that Redeem and Winners Chapel's pastors are everywhere. I know. We already know that. Okay? Why? Because these are the most influential people. These two people, and especially Baba Adeboye, are extremely influential in Nigeria. Don't get it twisted. It's not a bad or good thing. It's just something you should know, so that you're not surprised when VDM says, oh, your pastor happened to be an EFCC. No, what's the surprise there? I'm not surprised. Every one of you have uncles who is a pastor. You have a cousin who is a pastor. Tell me, if you're a person and you have a cousin, you don't have a cousin who is a pastor. You can think of one right now. Tell me in the chat. I know somebody's going to say, yes, I don't have a cousin who is a pastor and I live in Nigeria. Yeah, you're the exception. Let's keep going.
And from there, they told him to transfer $274,000. It's not a coincidence again at this point. It means there's a foul play somewhere. As you can see, now, it now looks like this pastor, Michael Ezenkwe, has even a bad record. Because I don't know why MBA accuses EFCC Ilorin zonal head for alleged right violations. First things first, EFCC prosecutor has done 2 shows with the husband of Mercy Chinwo, and he's still the prosecutor in the case between Mercy Chinwo and Eezee Concepts. He was even in court, so it's no longer a coincidence. Secondly, the zonal head of EFCC in Ilorin, who is now, I heard that they've now promoted him, is now the chief of staff to the present EFCC boss, allegedly. That's now the chief of staff. That means anything they do will pass through him. Now, this is when I thought that everything was done and everything was over, only for me to now go and find out that the judge in the case, I looked at a name. There's a name on Instagram registered with the judge, because the name of the judge of that case is Oweye Alexander. Now, I checked the Instagram that is registered with his name. Guess what? This person is following Mercy Chinwo. As you can see, let's search. Type it there. Mercy. Bang, 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 bang. Mercy Chinwo. So he's following Mercy Chinwo on Instagram, a name that's registered with his name. Now, when I say, okay, maybe not fake accounts, let me look at the time this account was registered. Ladies and gentlemen, it was opened August 2017. Now, if this account was a fake account, or maybe they changed the name, it would have been written there, just like my own. They'll tell you former username. So this person opened this account 2017.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is not FBI intelligence investigation. Instagram is not the platform to do that. It might be a starting point, but thank God he said part 1, so maybe he has more coming. I doubt it. This is it. But trust me, Instagram is not where you want to be doing the investigation. Anybody can go in through there and see whose username. And by the way, Mercy Chinwo is such a huge superstar, right? What are the chances that the judge is following Mercy Chinwo? Is that really an investigation? What are the chances? Let's see how many monitoring spirits are following Mercy Chinwo on Instagram, right? Let's see. 4.1 million followers on Instagram. What are the chances I'm asking for a friend. What are the chances that the judge would also, especially if it's a person who is part of the body of Christ, what are the chances they will be following Mercy Chinwo? Like, come on now. And we see a lot of people running with this today and say, I tell himself. Stop like that. Now, we need VDM. We need the whistleblowers, okay? But we also need to be checking and balancing them. That's all I'm saying, okay? VDM is not your brother. It's not my enemy, okay? You say I'm a hater. Talk for yourself. You discover something new, just like VDM today. I applaud yourself, okay? But the point here is that we do need whistleblowers. We need people that will say, hey, I'm curious enough. I have time. I'm jobless. We need people like that in society. But there's nothing special about this, okay? Now, the $274,000, that was obviously money that you owed to her. And if it wasn't, you could have called your lawyer. You're also not a small boy in Nigeria. Eezee is not a small boy. He has influences everywhere. Don't get it twisted. He's not the oppressed here. Okay? In fact, if you go look at the history, he's really, really done some work. He's done some good work of bullying that girl. There's no question about that anywhere. There's only one person questioning this and all his followers, VDM. He's oppressed her. He's tried to hold her hostage over and over again. We've seen the evidence ever. No, I'm not going to call it evidence like another VDM, okay? But we've seen all the signs everywhere just by the way he tried to come into the public and manipulate us. But he could have called the lawyer and said, no, I need to talk to my lawyer. If you're arrested in EFCC in Lorry and you built a multi-million-dollar platform like Eezee Concepts, right? You don't know enough that you can call a lawyer and have somebody call a lawyer and say, my lawyer, just talk to my lawyer. You don't know that you can chill inside of the cell for 1 or 2 days while they figure out how to call your lawyer, right? You don't know that? You don't know they have rights to make a call or two? Okay, so maybe it's Nigeria. They don't allow them to make a call or two when they are locked up in the FCC. Maybe. You tell me, because I don't live in Nigeria. I doubt it, okay? So now this Owoya Alexander of a judge person following Mercy Chinwo, please, like, there's a super good chance that will be one of the 4.1 million followers on Instagram. There is no discovery in this one. Let's keep going.
So obviously, it's possible that it is the judge of the case that even opened it. Una won't kill Eezee Concepts. Una won't kill him.
This is him insinuating he's oppressed.
Is the body of Christ or body of connection? It's not a coincidence that the EFCC prosecutor happens to be somebody that does show with Mercy Chinwo's husband back to back. It's not a coincidence. Secondly, the person where they go arrest, the place where they arrest Eezee Concepts, go keep for EFCC learning, they leave Lagos, carry and go where we say there's no person. It can't happen to be a pastor. Do you understand? Now, one of his programs, let's listen to one of his programs. Listen to the under song.
Ministering is our Father in the Lord, Pastor Michael Eezee, and other anointed ministers of God. Get set.
You hear Mercy Chinwo song under, so he's a fan. Now, it's not looking like the name that was registered in the name of the judge is a fan of Mercy Chinwo. The EFCC prosecutor, Nagai Man to the husband of Mercy Chinwo, and the zonal chairman of EFCC in Ilorin, they're also a fan of Mercy Chinwo. How Eezee Concept want to survive the case? So first things first, we'll go follow this case. And then claim say that the body of Christ, is this how body of Christ work? This is not, but this is body of demons. Body of demons. They are bloggers, I have God. They are bloggers, I have God. Which God, I ask you people? Now all of now are the supporter. I'm gonna ask her this question. Why are these people linked to her? The people that are the soul, the people where we say they hold ground for the case. Why did they link to Mercy Chinwo? Now, this is what I was saying this week. The judge of this case, Owoya Alexander, much respect to you, my Lord. Much respect to you, my Lord. But please, my Lord, I have done a lot of investigation on your matter. And all my investigation came out that you are a judge that does not compromise.
All right, so he's patronizing the judge. Good luck with that. But anyway, the judge shouldn't really have any power. But in the Nigerian judicial system, there are all kinds of questions. But let me just say this. Pastor Michael Eezee and EFCC, it doesn't sound right. It just sounds all kind of weird. You cannot be anointed man of God and you're also the chief of staff or a zona Ilori of EFCC. Like that's Nigeria needs to do better when it comes to that. Like, now, obviously, people have the right to have a job outside of being the body of Christ, but especially if it's going to be all mixed up together like this, like again, absolute power. It doesn't matter what the source of the power is. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You cannot do that. It's the same reason why I call out VDM. He cannot have all this power and think he can bully anybody on the internet. No, that's wrong. That's why I'm checking and balancing that. That's why we need to keep checking and balancing each other. Right? So it just doesn't sound right. Like that ad right there, the more we see it in society, the more it's going to create problems, particularly conflict of interest problems. Okay, you cannot have such a large organization like RCCG and then an anointed okay, they didn't do anything necessarily wrong, because it's never really about right and wrong. But there's conflict of interest here, and people's rights can be trampled upon. Now, he said, how can Eezee survive? Well, the goal is not for Eezee to survive. The goal should have been justice to be served, right? But they will both survive. When justice is served, both sides will survive. Somebody please educate VDM. The goal, I'm nitpicking his words, granted, but still, that's what he does too, right? The goal is not for one side to survive. The goal is justice. If you have this girl's money, release her money. If you know you've been bullying her for years and they've called all these meetings, she's probably tired of meetings. He said, let EFCC handle it. EFCC, you cannot have a pastor, Daddy GEO, who is closely related to Mercy Chinwo handling the case. That's clearly conflict of interest. You're gonna have a VDM who is petty enough to find your ass out and call you out. I don't know why this is not obvious to people that live in Nigeria. I don't understand why these kind of things are not that obvious. It's beyond me. But when the society is deteriorating, anything goes, right? Now, the idea of calling the body of Christ body of demons, I want you to be ashamed of yourself. If you're a rattle and you call yourself a Christian, you're calling Jesus and you're a rattle, you should be ashamed of yourself, okay? Because there is no way that sat right in your spirit. If that sat right in your spirit, cover your face, go in front of a mirror, and you should be ashamed of yourself, okay? Now, if you're not really a follower of Christ and you got happy because they're calling out the body of Christ suddenly, oh my shield. So this is how cheap you are. This is how cheap somebody can cajole you. They could just go on Instagram and swipe through a couple of things. They said they've done investigations, and your dick is getting hard. Come on. You could do better. You need to cross-check and balance VDM. It's just as dangerous as the people is calling out. Okay? Maybe I'm just as dangerous. Y'all gonna learn. Else, y'all gonna learn the hard way. Body of demons, why? Why is that necessary? Let's keep going.
You are a high reputation judge. You don't have record of bribe. You don't have record of corruption. But the fact that you are following Mercy Chinwo, I feel like some sentiments might get into the case. So they should give this case to a neutral person. Who is a neutral? They should give this case to a Muslim judge. A Muslim judge that does not may not know Mercy Chinwo, that does not listen to gospel song, and somebody that does not know Eezee concepts. Let it be neutral. This is Nigeria. We want our justice system to work. We don't want people with connection to keep on manipulating the justice system of Nigeria. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. So that judge, we are requesting that the judge should step down. Now then bring this case on social media. It be no concern us. But she come online, come cry. That was when I took interest. And my instinct told me that everything in that video was a lie. And now I am beginning to bring the evidence to back my instincts. My instinct does not lie.
This nigga just said instinct. Not the instinct. Of all that investigation, instinct. Like, come on now. Okay, he started from instinct. He started using his instinct, he started to dig in, and then he took interest. Like, come on. Your instinct does not lie. Your instinct does lie, because recently, which I haven't had a chance to cover yet, you came back and said you think Mohbad's wife is 70% right. After you have been calling for 2 years for DNA test. Nah, your instinct is the worst. If I'm to put a, let's put a mark. In the comment section, help me put a rating of 1 to 10. In the comment section, how far do you think Very Dark Man's instincts goes on the rate of 1 to 10, right? 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest in terms of accuracy. How accurate do you think his instinct is, right? Let's just do it for fun. It's not that deep. Let's just do it for fun, okay? At least this one, he's right. But again, the clock, even a broken clock, not the clock. I was saying clock earlier. Even a broken clock is right at least twice a day. So there's nothing special here. In fact, good people that tend to call out oppressors, they tend to dwell on the fact that they are right and telling the truth. It's bullshit. Okay, all of us need checks and balances. In love and war, all is fair.
God give me that gift to see beyond things. So is this the body of Christ? And I ask the people that are saying I'm criticizing her, is this the body of Christ? Answer, very dark man. Like I said, you all will learn, and you all will learn the hard way. Now, if I no travel, because I'm supposed to travel very soon, if I no travel, we'll match that courts together. We will request that the judge should not be in that case again. The judge should hand over that case to somebody else. A Muslim judge in particular. What's the problem of the case? How did everything start? They say you breach contracts. But because you feel say you get connection, you know 1 or 2 people. Una won't bully this guy. Una claim say una no get bloggers. Meanwhile, everything I have seen so far, it be like say now forces against the guy. Why did you people take him to Ilorin? I have answered that. It was not a coincidence. You people took him to where we say una get power.
All right, you're pitching yourself. Here's the thing. You were criticizing her. You were not criticizing her. You were bullying her. You joined Eezee to bully her. Okay? And it was obvious that Eezee, to me, see my instinct now. My instinct is that Eezee had been bullying this girl anytime he didn't get his way. He had pictures. He was taking pictures of Judy K and Mercy Chinwo every time something good is going on. He will make sure he documents it. He was releasing all of them. He used even Eezee's corporate Instagram profile to bully her even further. Even though this girl said, listen, all this nice, my money, where's my money? If she breached the contract, there's one place to go to. You go to the court. If somebody breached a contract, you go sue them in court. And by the way, Eezee has sued Judy K. He's the only one that sued them. Judy K and Mercy Chinwo. Right? So what are we talking about? Why don't you wait and let that fester out? Why are you holding on to her royalties, which you clearly released $274,000 of that money, but you kept holding on to it because you think you can keep bullying people. So they showed you that bully can be bigger than bully. So they decided to go to Ilorin. Isn't that fair? If you've been bullying her, right, and you have this contract and you're not giving her a copy of the contract they've been asking you for a while, if they say, okay, you're using all these influences and all, let me go use my own influence. So shout out to Very Dark Man for shedding light on what we already know. Shout out to him. Kudos to you. But there's nothing really special here, right? Now, in terms of who has bloggers and who have God, it's obvious that Eezee has continue to show that he can bully this girl using you, Very Dark Man. Right? Now, you could have waited and do some more research and say, hey, we have some conflict of interest here. Like, shout out to Mercy Chinwo. She's trying to do her thing. There's a breach of contract. We need to get to but we can't. In handling this case, why do we have EFCC Pastor Oyedepo, EFCC Zonal Chief of Staff? Why do we have them all over this case? Why do we have another person who follows Mercy Chinwo? Which I think that's a weird point to make. Out of 4.1 million followers, why do we have this person presiding over the case? No, we can't have that. That's conflict of interest. Please, why don't you call your rat tails together and do it that way? Why do you have all your rat tails cursing and calling people's papas out and telling people we'll buy before the end of this year for taking another side? Why do we have that? because you're dangerous. You're more dangerous than this case. I will keep calling it out. Okay? I will keep calling. You're more dangerous than this case. You're more dangerous than this case. And that's what Nigeria as a society has provided. People that need to use their influential power to effect their own rights. But then you're going to push back and then try to bully using the same medicine. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. So far, my verdict so far, before I give my verdict, let's keep going. So VCT has a bigger blogger, and that's you. And your weapon of mass destruction is using you now. I haven't seen any blogger on Mercy. I personally haven't seen it. Maybe I just haven't followed that. I haven't seen it. She's made one statement and she cried on one video, and that's not too over the board either. You know, she has the right to do that because it's personal to her. She talked about her child being called out. She talked about somebody paying somebody to say her child was birthed to Nathaniel Bassey, right? All of that, I think that wasn't necessary, but she's a lady, so maybe she got caught up in her emotions for a second. But she's since then gone back to work. But Eezee has been using you since then. Okay, maybe it's not a bad thing because now we're seeing this conflict of interest, but there's a better way to address this conflict of interest.
And you claim to be with the body of Christ. Body of Christ, my foot. Body of Christ, my foot. I stand for justice and justice. I stay for the truth. I am a man with high integrity. Nobody fit doubt him for this country. No possible.
That's the biggest bullshit that we'll continue to hear. Any human being that will say, I am a person with the high integrity is a weirdo. That person is dangerous. I don't care. No, even Jesus cannot say that. Baba, it's weird. That makes me believe that you were wanking men off. You would do anything. That's crazy. I don't know why I had to say that in this video, but he's still in denial about that one, but allegedly. Let's keep going.
As a brain track record of anybody, whether if I pay me for anything, I stand for truth and the betterment of Nigeria. That's why I must put mouths for things like this. We're going to corrupt our justice system in Nigeria. So we're going to make connections. They spoil people things and no day for them. So we mark for this case. It's beginning to get interesting. Peace and love. You are going to learn, and you all will learn the hard way. Don't play.
All right. So if it's not obvious to you that I like VERYDARKMAN at this time, you're a weirdo too. Okay. What do I mean by weirdo? As in foolish. You don't have wisdom. Okay. If I keep reacting to somebody's video and I'm pointing out where things can be better, obviously I like the character. Okay. Because we don't know each other personally. Okay, we will probably never meet because he's an emotional guy too. He will take all this personally. He might go and try to attack my father because that's the kind of people he's raising. Okay, now he's so big, he needs to refine his methods. I like the fact that he called this out. Like I said, VERYDARKMAN is right, but even a broken clock is right at least twice a day. That's not enough. It has never been enough to be.
You're right.
In the history of mankind, it has never been enough to be right. So the fact that you think you are upright, righteous, integrity high, that's the fact that you're even spelling it out is weird. The point of this video that we need to highlight is here. I want to spend some time, maybe 30 seconds on this and end this video. There is a clear conflict of interest here that he's called out. This is one of the things that he's done right. So I'm pointing out one thing he's done right. Allah, you always call me only when he's done. No, I've covered one thing he's done right. Okay. Yes, I did say it's a broken clock, but he's right. Let's point out this point is right. There's a clear conflict of interest here, and the body of Christ or anybody in Nigeria, that's not just body of Christ. Anybody in Nigeria, if you are calling yourself out and you want to use influence, be careful, because that same influence you're using can come back and bite you in the butt, just like I guarantee it's gonna bite VDM in the butt at some point. You see, to whom much is given, much is required. If you have all this, you can't have all these people that know you, Pastor SAN. That's just weird. Pastor SAN, like, come on, that's a conflict of interest. We can. This judge too is there's no evidence. There's no evidence that is close to them, but it's just, yeah, it's not good enough, right? But the judge is fine, but the EFCC prosecutor, the zonal chief of staff, like, come on. Mercy Chinwo's Mercy Chinwo is not responsible for this because she's not the one suing this. EFCC responsible for this. EFCC need to clean that up. They need to clean that up immediately. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with me that VERYDARKMAN is right on this one? I mean, you are still in your feelings and you're like, nah. Or you want to elaborate a little bit more? Do that in the comment section below. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. God bless. Peace.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.